Hello. Good evening. Hi.
Hello.
Howdy.
Howdy. Hi, everybody who is here. Hi to Existential Gamer and Expired Milk. Thanks for joining.
The two X's.
Yeah, literally. The two X's. How's everyone's day?
Oh, good. Had an easy flight to where I am. I think there's lots of weather events happening in the country, but my flight path avoided all of them. So
Oh,
very
very
smooth.
good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
How about you, Existential Gamer?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Learning some new stuff at work, but I assure you that it's very boring, so I will not be going into it.
I had a quiet day. It's been very slow at work and it's been kind of boring. But then this evening, I almost got into a very bad car accident.
Oh, wait, I thought
Oh,
you didn't drive.
I don't. So I was in an Uber
Oh no.
on my way home, and we were driving down like my city's like main busy street, like the busiest one, the busiest avenue. And so all of the intersecting streets have stop signs because the avenue is a thoroughfare. And a woman ran the stop sign, which is insane
Oh,
to me because, like, okay, if you miss a stop sign on like a quiet street, I get it, but like you're trying to cross the number one most crazy busiest street in our entire city.
yeah.
wow.
So she ran the stop sign, and the driver, my Uber driver, we were like just entering the cross where the crossing is. Um, he whipped the car to the right and around the corner, and she
Wow.
missed by centimeters.
Oh
Like
shit.
I when I felt the car whip to the right, I jerked my head up, and all I saw was her vehicle barreling straight toward
Oh
me.
Wow.
no.
And his reflexes, the Uber driver's reflexes, were so fucking good that he whipped the car around real fast, and like she swerved and didn't hit. And both of us
Hopefully.
I it was crazy. It was the closest I've ever been to like a serious accident.
That's
And she
Jeez.
actually
would have
pretty impressive that he turned the car rather than just hit the brakes, which is what I think
yeah,
most
he
people
turned
do.
instead of hit the brakes. And
Wow.
she would have T-boned right into the left side of the vehicle, which of course, as the driver, he is, and I was also.
Oh
I
my
was in the
god.
back seat on the left side, and like it was so crazy. Ugh. And then we both were like kind of shook for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet you
Is that
still have
part
adrenaline. That. Oh.
yeah, yeah. Thanks, Nix. I'm fine, totally fine. It was just crazy. Like, I, everyone fucks up. I understand that, but like when you're trying to cross the busiest street in our entire city, like you can't just
Yeah.
drive onto it.
Yeah. No. No. For
Yeah.
real.
Like
Like.
what are you
It's the
thinking?
kind of
It's not.
situation that even if there weren't a stop sign, you would stop because you see all the cars.
Yes.
Yes,
Exactly.
like how are you just barreling through? Oh my god, it was crazy. But
Yeah. There's
everyone,
a. Oh,
no,
sorry.
no, no. Go ahead.
There's a yield sign by where I live, and it really should be a stop sign because it's so busy. And I've had people get testy with me because I don't just yield. I have to stop because the road it goes onto is super busy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sharp corner, so you can't really see around it. So
Yeah.
you have to go up to the yield sign, stop, not for a long time, just you gotta stop and then make sure there's no cars. Because if you're
Yeah.
just yielding and going into the street, it no.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild, but all is well. Everyone is fine. Nothing actually bad happened. So that's
Good.
that. Yeah. Um, so yeah, we can get to our topic this evening.
Yeah. A little bit of a
So
different one.
yeah, every time I ask, like, oh, what should we talk about? This one comes up, and then we always end up doing something else. But
Yeah.
today is the day that we are going to get to it. So let me adjust things around here so that I can still see all I need to see. Okay, so yeah, this is from the Atlantic. So the headline: These teens got therapy, then they got worse.
Mm.
The kids are not all right, and frustratingly, we don't really know how to help them. What jumps out immediately? What do you think immediately?
I have many thoughts, but go ahead, expired milk.
Well, I guess my first thought is always, is this gonna be one of this generation is unique from all the other ones,
Mm.
or like what? Because I know each generation has its own, hallmarks and what they're known for, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like teenagedom.
Yes. Oh no, did we lose you, expired milk?
Oh shoot. That's a
Hotel
hotel
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, you're
Oh,
back.
yeah, you're back.
Always kind of hairy no matter when it happens.
Of
And just so I
course.
kind of
Yeah.
wonder, I guess, what is causing both the actions of the therapy and the reactions of when it perhaps doesn't go as planned. And is this
Hmm.
different from the past? I just have a lot of questions.
Very good questions. What do you think,
Yeah.
existential gamer?
I think that our combination of like um, social media and constant online dopamine and
Mm.
like nobody has any resilience anymore, especially the
Mm.
kids. So I know back in the 90s when I was a teenager, it was like there would be these touchy-feely therapist types who try to get in touch with us, and we were
Mm-hmm.
famously like surly slacker types who didn't we rebelled and all, the stereotype of it all. But really, the thing you have to do the most is get over yourself. And look, it sounds really
It's true
shitty,
though.
but
No, I
I
know.
know it's true. So it's almost like the more you try to like, let's get in touch with your feelings and break down your emotional walls. And, I'm going to, we're going to validate and talk about everything over and over again. We're going to ruminate on everything bothering you. I don't know if that's the right way to go. I don't know if that's what these therapists are going to be doing. We haven't read the article yet,
Yeah.
but man, it's like, yeah, Rachel. I know. I feel like such a boomer when I say it too, but it's like, yeah, it's like the instant gratification of technology, the the distance parenting that everyone talks about, where they're basically letting technology like raise their kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's all about like it's people don't like to say you got to get over yourself because it sounds invalidating, it sounds mean, but it's really
Non-affirming.
it's not affirming, like, but that's really part of like getting out of this
Yeah.
teenage hellscape and like becoming an adult. You just be like, you know what, I'm not the most unique specialist person ever. Everybody has problems, I do have problems, and they are valid, or whatever word you want to use, but at the end of the day life does go on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my boomer take. That is probably going to be the first of many with this article, but
Well, let's see.
yeah.
So, you have to admit, it seemed like a great way to help anxious and depressed teens. Researchers in Australia assigned more than 1,000 young teenagers to one of two classes, either a typical middle school health class or one that taught a version of mental health treatment called dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT. After 8 weeks, the researchers planned to measure whether the DBT teens' mental health had improved. The therapy was based on strong science. DBT incorporates some classic techniques from therapy, such as cognitive reappraisal or reframing negative events in a more positive way, and it also includes more avant garde techniques such as mindfulness, the practice of being in the present moment. Both techniques have been proven to alleviate psychological struggles. Okay. This special DBT for Teens program also covered a range of both mental health coping strategies and life skills, which are, again, correlated with health and happiness. 1 week, students were instructed to pay attention to things they wouldn't typically notice, such as a sunset. Another, they were told to sleep more, eat right, and exercise. They were taught to accept unpleasant things they couldn't change, and also how to distract themselves from negative emotions and ask for things they need. We really tried to put the focus on how can you apply some of this stuff to things that are happening in your everyday lives already? Lauren Harvey, a psychologist at the University of Sydney and lead author of the study, told me. So right away, like struggling, we're instructed to pay attention to things I wouldn't notice, such as a sunset.
If I were 15, this would make me want to pull my hair out. Like, stop it. It's just a sunset. What's wrong with you people? No,
yeah, or maybe it's
Looks-
like, look at the beauty of the sunset. The world is not that bad.
Sure, but like to sit teens down and make them do that. Some teens might love that. Other teens will be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like,
I'm
it's
sure,
my
yeah.
problems are not because I can't appreciate a goddamn sunset. Okay, my parents are getting a divorce, so shove it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the one time we were made to do a yoga class in PE.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's like voluntold. Like you're forced to do it.
Mm.
I don't know. Like, oh, you need to do all this mindfulness stuff and you need to eat right and exercise. And listen, you're never going to make people do any of that stuff. They're going to have to
No.
want to do it.
That's true.
And teens are people. They're just like anybody else. So if you round them up in a class and be like, okay, class, we're going to sit and watch the sunset. And I want you to write in a journal all the feelings you get when you look at the sunset. And that doesn't sound like fun. I don't know if they made them write in a journal. I'm just assuming because,
that
or
typically goes
share.
hand in hand.
Yeah, or like share with the circle, like what you see when you look at it. And then there's like the social pressure aspect of that whole thing. Like if you don't see the sunset good enough or enlightened enough, like it's not going to be good. I'm just trying to put my mind back in my 15-year-old body and try to like sit myself in this class, this therapy class with all the other kids in the class. And it's like, oh, Jesus.
Yes. If that happened to me, I think we would just bond over how silly it was. And hey, maybe that's good. Group bonding.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes laughing at things is good too. It doesn't have to be so serious all the time.
Yeah. So what happened was not what Harvey and her co-authors predicted. The therapy seemed to make the kids worse. Immediately after the intervention, the therapy group had worse relationships with their parents and increases in depression and anxiety. They were also less emotionally regulated and had less awareness of their emotions, and they reported a lower quality of life compared with the control group.
Okay. I really need to know the deets. Like, I need to know the details of what this class was like. And then I need to know, like, what are they measuring all like them being worse? Like less but how are they less emotionally regulated? Like how did their relationships get worse?
Right, like were they acting out more or
right?
Or is this like a self-report thing?
Yeah, is it reported by the parents? Like, is it self-report? Is it that the class made them worse, or is it just a coincidence? Like causation isn't correlation, right? Or is it the other way around? Yeah, correlation isn't causation. So I don't know. It just seems like I just need more information.
Yeah.
It's like this whole study could have been happening right around midterm exams and they're wasting time looking at the sunset.
Exactly. Right. Or it could have been something totally unrelated, like some drama happened in their friend group or something happened to them that nobody knows about. Like something awful happened to them. You just don't know. I don't know. Because as lame as I think that mandated DBT classes for teens and like looking at a sunset sounds to my 15-year-old self, I can't see how that's a direct cause of like more volatile relation. Like there's got to be something else. Like that's my first thought is there's got to be something else to this.
So it says most of the negative effects dissipated after a few months, but 6 months later, the therapy group was still reporting poorer relationships with their parents. And these results... Go ahead.
Oh, God. Sorry. Another thing that jumps out to me too is that you're dealing with a relationship with another person. You can try to, you're a kid, you don't have any power. So you can try to be all enlightened and shit and like try to manage your emotions. But if your parent is still shitty, right, then of course it's not going to improve your relationship with your parent. Like, what kind of parents are we talking about? What was the nature of their relationship? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yes. So um, these results are, well, depressing. Therapy is supposed to relieve depression, not exasperate it. And in case it's not clear, although it's disappointing that the therapy program didn't work, it's commendable that Harvey and her colleagues analyzed it objectively and published the negative results. But for the people, but for people who study teen mental health treatments, these findings are part of a familiar pattern. All sorts of so-called universal interventions in which a big group of teens are subjected to healthy messaging from adults have failed. Last year, a study of thousands of British kids who were put through a mindfulness program found that, in the end, they had the same depression and well-being outcomes as the control group. A cognitive behavioral therapy program for teens had similarly disappointing results. It proved no better than regular classwork.
yeah.
Oh God, DARE.
Oh, yeah.
DARE, DARE. What is it? Drug Abuse Resistance Education?
Yeah. Yep.
I can't believe I remember that.
I can't believe you did either. I didn't.
From which from the 90s to early 2000s taught legions of elementary school students 10 different street names for heroin, similarly had little to show for its efforts. The curriculum has since been revamped, but self-esteem boosting craze of the 80s didn't amount to much, and later research questioned whether having high self-esteem is even beneficial. Anti-bullying programs for high schoolers seemed to increase bullying. Whoa.
And I
That's
was
not
a
a
fan of
surprise.
Dare. I was also a fan of CM Punk in the WWE, who was straight edge.
I
I bet.
loved the WWE. I had a major WWE phase. Oh my God, I was so into it. Um, I did, oh my God, I did my grade 9, so I was 14. My drama class for my like final, we had to like write and perform a monologue, and I did mine about the WWE.
Oh no.
Wait, were you quoting WWE dialogue or?
No, I
That
was
would be
writing.
awesome.
I wrote about my favorites, who are the Hardy Brothers, the High Flyers.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
God. The cringe.
cringe.
No, I got in trouble once because my history teacher, whenever she would get like really into something, and she would because she's like a nerd, I just say, "What?" And she said, "What?" And she's like, "Just say what?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a wrestling thing. If you know, you know."
Oh, I know. So reading these findings, haters of high school assemblies might tingle with Schadenfreude. But the consistent failure of these kinds of programs is troubling because
What?
teen mental health is now considered a crisis, one that has so far resisted even well-considered solutions. Was somebody going to say something?
Oh, it's not. This is teens aren't going to listen to adults, and
Yeah.
I think that the problem here is not because adults aren't kumbayaing enough with teens like around a fire. Like, come on, this has always been the case. When you're a teenager and the adults come in with their lame techniques and their advice from their adult point of view, where they actually have power and they can drive
Yeah.
and live on their own, and you're stuck in a house with a shitty mom and dad who disrespect you all the time, and you have no money, no power, like, you're not going to listen to their advice. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like so many adults are just out of touch. They stop being teenagers and then they quickly become out of touch with how it even felt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, is there also an element of like, you become an adult and you grow up and you do realize that life was not actually that bad, and then it's hard
Yes.
to, put yourself back in those shoes. Because I
Right.
know when I was 15, like, I thought my life was the worst experience anyone had ever had on planet Earth.
Yes.
You know.
And
But now I look at it and I'm like, oh, girl, please.
But what would work though is if an adult were to not be like, oh, let me teach you these mindfulness techniques and stay positive and blah blah blah, and they just look at the teen and go, you know what, you're right, it fucking sucks, but you know what, it ends.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, if it,
I think that would help way more than any of this therapy stuff, to be
yeah,
honest.
if anything, I found it more beneficial to look at people that were closer to my age but still older. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know a big thing was no in my school, all the grades were in one building, so you could look up to girls who were a year or two older and be like, well, they had the same assignments I did. They had the same stuff that I do now, and they did it. So
Mm-hmm.
Well,
maybe, yeah,
maybe
that's
for
a little.
you, but for me, when I was 15, I was Queen Emo, and I would have been like, they could do it because they don't totally suck like
Yeah,
I do. Worst. But
yeah.
I,
The way
because
I
I had,
summarized it, yeah.
oh no, I just, because I had boomer parents, they just basically rolled their eyes and were like, you just need to get over it because y- I don't know what else to tell you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the way I remember teenageness is just every single thing that happened just seemed so big and so significant, and
Mm-hmm.
like it would
Yes.
change the course of my entire life. When again, looking back, you're like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. But
Right.
Yeah.
it is
But
sometimes hard to remember.
yeah, and when you are that age or even younger, whatever, like when you're going through something awful, that like that really is the worst thing that has ever happened to you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really
right?
is.
So
And
you don't have anything to compare it to.
some adults double down on the whole, oh, the decisions you make in these years are going to
Mm-hmm.
impact your
Yeah.
entire life. So, of course, teens are going to freak out. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's fair.
Oh, gravity onyx. I
Yeah,
wonder if,
recovering from anesthesia.
my goodness.
Oh.
I hope
I
everything is okay.
yeah.
Some kind of
Welcome back to the
anesthesia
world.
fever dream.
Yeah, right. We're like trippy and fever dream for gravity onyx. I hope you don't have a bad trip, okay?
All right. So from 2007 to 2016, pediatric emergency room visits for mental health disorders rose 60%. Most teen
Hmm.
girls, 57%, felt persistently sad or hopeless. Well, that's probably
Hmm.
justified
Yes,
in
but
2021.
sorry, there's so much meat on this bone here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's also the social aspect nowadays online of having a mental illness and like having that give you community online. I mean, we've talked about this with the girls who want to trans or become non-binary, or
Mm-hmm.
the Tumblr, like, you know, the stereotypical like listing
Mm-hmm.
all their mental illnesses like in their bio, right?
Yeah.
But that's how they connect with others. So if you don't have any of that and you come on and you're like, yeah, I don't have anything. I'm totally neurotypical. I've got nothing. You don't fit in with the
Then yeah,
crowd.
you're the odd one out.
Hmm. So I would wonder if are these girls, especially the girls, right? Are they really like? Is it really as bad as these mental health professionals think, or are they just
Mm-hmm.
like trying to fit in with their peer group?
Mm-hmm.
Not to like minimize
Yeah.
it. I'm
Whereas
just
No,
before
saying
it would
no.
like
have been
it
you're
could just
bonding over like the same band or the same music type. It's now, I guess, more like
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Or like what would have been normal teenage depression now becomes like a legit disorder that you get medicated for and you have to see a therapist for.
Right.
Be-
Rather than it just being like normal teenage puberty
Right.
angst, like
Yeah,
your
which we
bodies are
all,
going crazy and you're trying to figure it out.
yes, and it's awful for everybody.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
So let's see. That figure is still not great. 29% among teen boys. Nearly a third of teen girls have considered suicide, according to the CDC. Although school closures probably didn't help things, these numbers were rising even before the coronavirus pandemic began. The kids are not all right, and frustratingly, we don't really know how to help them. It feels like we should be able to just sit the teens down and tell them how to be happier, but that doesn't seem to work, and sometimes it even
Well,
backfires.
no shit.
Yeah,
Did that work for you when you were a teen? Because it didn't work for me.
no. This is
No.
trigger warning, talk of self harm. When I was a teenager and I was really depressed and I was not out yet and I was like internalizing my being a lesbian, blah, 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 I had a history of self harming. Um, I haven't in
Yeah.
like 17 or 18 years, so we're all good. But
Mm.
anyway, I remember my psychiatrist uh, was giving like alternatives to self-harming. Like you can snap a rubber band on your wrist or draw with red markers on your skin or whatever. And I said,
Right?
oh my God. I said to him, also him,
Mm.
I said to him, that's like pulling a lawn chair up to a sandbox and calling it Mexico. I was like, it's not the same.
It's
Oh
not
my
though.
God. Oh my God. So cringe. But
But it's
yeah.
true though.
But yeah, like when, yeah, just sitting them down, telling them to be happier. Like that's exactly right. Like it doesn't just go away because you're like, oh, do this instead. Like, well, okay.
Even adults don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Like, how many adults stories have I read online where they're like, yeah, I should try mindfulness and not to be so unhappy at my job, and like I should eat right and exercise, but fuck it, I'm gonna just drink a 12 pack after. Like, so many, like, it's hard to do that even when you're not a teenager. So just being like, no, just be happy. Come on, act like a yoga Instagram influencer and get up at 5 a.m. and eat salads and be mindful and go for a healthy jog.
The whole TikTok thing that's like my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5.
Right, exactly. Like, just do it. Just do that. It's so easy.
Ugh.
I
Well, what
can't
I do is before I embark on any big job, I watch the Apollo 13 movie to put things into perspective.
Oh,
I say, you know what?
It can't get
No
worse than
matter
that.
no matter
you know
what
what?
happens, it won't be that bad.
That is so funny because I just watched that recently.
It's a great
Yeah,
movie.
it really is. It's a classic. But yeah, that's true. It's like, wow, I could be dying, burning up on reentry, and I'm not. So,
Yes.
yay.
Yeah.
Look, but that's the thing though. Perspective is what older people have. Teens don't have it. I mean, I had a teen and I could tell him till the cows came home that, and he would even acknowledge it. He would be like, yeah, I know you are older. You have the perspective, but for me, it's not like that. I don't feel like that. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's not going to feel like that for you because you don't have the years under your belt. You don't have the perspective. But we'll have this conversation again in 10 years and we'll revisit and you'll understand what I was saying. And he's like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. So these types of programs tend to flop for a lot of different reasons. In the case of the Australian study, the teens didn't opt into the intervention. They were signed up for it class by
See,
class.
I knew it. Voluntold. You're voluntold to do it.
Yeah. But teens don't like being told by adults how to think or what to do.
Well, wow. Big brain
Imagine that.
here.
Yeah. Even if it's something that could benefit them. Experts
You'll,
told me.
whoa. Can't believe it. The truth bombs.
The Australian kids were instructed to practice the DBT exercises at home, and those who did so had better outcomes, but only about a third practiced at least weekly.
And that's the thing. Did they actually do them when they reported the failure, or did they just say they did them and didn't? The ones who did it actually found them helpful, but I bet most of those teens just said they did it to get the credit and didn't do it.
Right. Okay. This could be considered low, but does anyone really enjoy doing their therapy homework?
Right?
Especially when you have, regular homework.
Yes, exactly.
It's just another thing they're required and asked to do without any input from them, as Jessica Schleider, a psychologist at Northwestern University, puts it.
It's for your own good. Yeah, just adding on to their already big workload.
Yeah. So what's more, these complex therapy-adjacent concepts might confound young teens. The average age of the kids in the DBT study was just 13.5. That's really young.
So young.
That's really young.
Yeah.
And in order to make the program palatable to so many kids, the instructors might have had to dilute DBT beyond the point where it was actually helpful. It's kind of like giving somebody a couple of doses of an antibiotic for a serious illness in an attempt to prevent that illness from emerging at a population level, which intuitively makes no sense, Schleider told me. Right, you can't take half the antibiotics, you have to take the whole bottle.
Right, and I would also argue, I got to look up DBT versus CBT and what that like the details of it. But I would argue that if you don't have a certain amount of perspective over your life and you're not old enough, I don't think those are going to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's just I'm just looking at like a very basic. CBT primarily focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns and behaviors, while DBT also emphasizes acceptance and mindfulness and includes skills training for managing emotions.
Okay, but that, and I know that's very bare bones, but like in
Yeah.
order to accept what you cannot change,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have the perspective. And like a lot of kids are very black and white in their thinking.
Yeah.
They still want that control. They haven't gotten to the point yet where they're old enough where they realize they can't do that. They can't control everything, and to try is just going to make you unhappy, right? So
Yeah.
that's something I would never expect like a 13-year-old to even comprehend.
Of
They would be
course.
like, but why shouldn't it be like that? But it should be. And
Yeah.
you can tell them that you can tell them, but they're not going to listen to you because in they're still kids. Like they still think that at the end of the day good should prevail and that the right thing should be done, and it's not always like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of giving the impact of, sorry to bring up Star Wars, of
No,
Yoda
please.
talking,
No, that's
but
why we have you here.
of Yoda talking
Listen.
to Anakin, where he's like, "Hey, I was a slave my entire childhood, and I've been taken from my mom, and then she died after I had this horrible dream about her, and now I'm having the same dream about the wife I'm not supposed to have, and I feel really bad about it. What should I do?" And Yoda's just like, well, you can't control everything, so it is what it is.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it's like.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
So that brings us to another problem with universal interventions. Many therapists use DBT to help people struggling with suicidal ideation and self injury through months of intensive individual treatment. But the teens in this study weren't, on average, clinically depressed or anxious to begin with.
Oh, geez.
Many of them were just normal, happy kids. It's possible that by teaching kids to notice their negative thoughts, the
Mm-hmm.
program inadvertently reinforced those thoughts.
Yes. Yes.
Dang.
That is such a important piece of information, because one thing
Mhm.
I learned that helped my mental health when I was younger is realizing that actually like ruminating and dwelling and like trying to I'm processing all the stuff that happened to me or like my feelings, but there comes a point where doing that over and over is just hurting you.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean,
It's
it's easier said than done, but you have to literally like get out of your head
you
and like
do.
go for a walk, go cook
Yeah,
yourself dinner, have a
focus
shower,
on
like
someone else, like
do
talk to
something.
someone else, like do something else, or just tell yourself like stop thinking. It's like a denial thing, right? And I know denial is a bad word and like, oh, you shouldn't repress or deny anything, but the way I stopped a lot of my negative self-talk when I was younger was just like, stop it. Stop it. You're doing it again. You're ruminating. You're gonna cry in the shower again and have imaginary conversations with people. And this is not helping because you do it every single day. You need to stop. And then when those thoughts would pop up, I'd be like, nope, shut up, stop it. No. And somebody else, like a therapist, might be like, well, you might be denying your feelings. Like, yeah, because I've been feeling these feelings for years and it hasn't helped me at all, at all.
Mhm.
So what else can you do? Like, yes, I'm going to deny, I'll avoid it. I will deny it. And then after a while, especially if you also say to yourself, like, no, that's a lie. That you're telling yourself, the truth is many people love you, or the truth is you're good at a lot of things.
Mhm.
And then you tell yourself that too, along with telling yourself to shut up about like, because the negative thoughts will tell you the worst things about yourself.
Of course. Yeah, negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So cutting it off, and then sometimes being like, no, that's not true. You have a lot of people in your life, or no, that's not true. Your day-to-day life is actually pretty good. You know, you've got a roof over your head. You're gainfully employed. You know, you got a family that's supportive, whatever you can think of.
Latch onto, yeah.
Yeah.
Ice Goddess, the meme. Stop coming up with scenarios that are upsetting you. No, I don't think I will.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's exactly what it
That's
is. You're like,
exactly what it is.
remember those old medieval like priests that used to whip themselves with flails.
Yeah,
They used to
those
like
flagellation.
flagellations. Like that's exactly what you're doing mentally to yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Because some part of you, it feels good to some part of you.
Yeah,
And
well, there's honor in suffering or whatever, you know.
yeah. And
Hmm.
like for some reason I enjoyed being like sad and despondent and stuff. And I had to really unpack like why I felt like that. Like why do I have comfort in feeling hopeless and like everyone hates me and my life is terrible? Like there's something alluring about it. And I had to kind of cut that off and be like, this is very unhealthy and it's not alluring and it's not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I think for me, I always had a very detailed internal fantasy world. That was my go-to. Because if I had any issues with anything, the response was, "Well, your ancestors survived slavery, so."
Ugh.
I'm like, okay.
Wow. That's
Whoa.
some perspective. Jesus.
I say, okay. And it's like, well, if I go into my nice fictional place and all these characters embody what I think are good in people, and if I just act like them, then I will navigate whatever it is. And that's just kind of how
Yeah.
it worked for a long time.
You know, I once heard a doctor, I don't think he was a psychiatrist, I think he was just a medical doctor, but was talking about how for people, like, I'm not talking about people who have like crippling schizophrenia or something, but like people
Yeah.
who just have like general anxiety or general depression. He had said, like, just look around at the people in your life who are normal and just act like they do. Like,
Yeah, just
fake it till you make
be
it. Do
normal.
what the normal people are doing.
Yes.
Fake it till you
Like,
make it.
I have been known to just tell people online to just be normal. Like just
Yes.
watch what they do and be normal. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, Salad Caesar, Theremin Trees. It's a good YouTube channel and I have also seen him and I do recommend his stuff.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
He does good work.
So maybe everybody thinking about how anxious or hurt they are might not be the best idea, says Jean M. Twenge, a professor of psych at San Diego State University and the author of Generations. We might be taking people who are doing just fine and trying to teach them these techniques, which may actually call attention to their distress. That leaves the question of why the relationships between the DBT kids and their parents soured, remaining that way even months later. Harvey, the study author, thinks the fact that the intervention didn't include the parents might have created a gap of sorts between the parents and their kids.
Yeah, that's what I was
You
saying
didn't include the
earlier.
parents in this
Right.
experimental class?
That's what I mean. Like you could teach the kids all the techniques that you want, but if the parents are still participating in the horrible relationship cycle that they've established, then you're not going to help shit. They hold all the power in this scenario.
Right. But not to involve the parents in an experiment seems kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't know if the parents like signed off and were just like, yeah, take my kid for a night of DBT. I don't know. Were they even aware?
Don't know. It says the kids might have learned to advocate for themselves more assertively, but if parents didn't understand where that was coming from, family tensions might have arisen. So it sounds like the parents maybe didn't know.
Maybe.
So, of course, there's not a huge risk that American public schools will apply mental health treatments to ninth graders without their parents' consent. Right, not in America, but in Australia.
Apparently, geez.
School boards can barely agree on which books to allow, so I don't anticipate mandatory therapy coming to our shores anytime soon. Many US schools incorporate social emotional learning into their curriculum, but this differs from the programs mentioned in any of these studies. Still, we've had our share of impotent programs aimed at making teens better, and it would be nice if something like the Big Mindfulness Assembly worked. Schleider said that rather than subject entire classrooms of kids to therapeutic information, mental health treatment should be available to kids when they feel that they need it, not just when it happens to be fifth period. She has designed some interventions along these lines. In many states, adolescents can't access any mental health care without parental consent. For teens who don't feel comfortable going to their parents, that basically just means too bad for them, Schleider said. Which, unfortunately, in our research is about a third of teens. Most teens don't have their own money or insurance. They couldn't drive to a therapist's office if they wanted to. So they turn to social media, which might actually reinforce poor mental health.
Bada
Yes.
bing.
I
There
have
it
a stream
is.
about that. I have a stream about that. One of the first ones I ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ice Goddess mentions how fake it till you make it is so silly. I never vibed with it. How about just I make fart noises instead? But that's the thing. You can also like laugh at yourself. Like when I was trying to learn better social skills, I would say to myself, like, yep, I'm learning how to have social skills. Like, what a weirdo. you know? You just
Mhm.
kind of have to laugh at it and be like, I'm gonna imitate what the normal people do. What do normal people do with their days? Yeah, it doesn't have to be super serious either. Like you can kind of just poke fun at yourself a little bit for being kind of a weird little bean, you know.
Mhm. Girl therapy.
Yeah, Grey Witch, it really doesn't pay off quickly to fake it till you make it. It's not like you're totally faking it either. You're consciously trying to stop the tapes running
Mhm.
in your head
Yeah.
along with like watching what other people do. Like, okay, well, I'm at a party and I feel awkward at parties and I can't connect with people very well. What do people who seem to have a good time
Yeah.
do?
What
Like,
are they doing?
right. And if I can't do it perfectly, like, well, yeah, of course I can't because I'm a little weirdo. We already know this, right? So like, but you try and you have a few laughs and you come away from the party. You're like, that wasn't as bad as it normally goes, you
Yeah.
know. And then it little by little it just ends up getting better and better. Or maybe you decide that, you know what, I don't even like parties, I'm going to stop going to them.
Mhm.
Part of my growth is to say no to going to parties that I don't even like. I'm just gonna be comfortable with the fact that I like to be home by myself and curl up with a book or something, and that's good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oops.
Or I often advocate for, well, I'm always a big believer in being yourself. So
Yeah.
whenever I would go to parties where I'd be awkward in the corner, I thought, well, I spend
Yeah.
all these parties where I'm in the corner. What should I do? So I started bringing Connect Four and Jenga to high school parties, and it was
Very good.
funny because all the drunk kids would come and try to play Connect Four with me, but they were intoxicated, so they sucked.
Yeah.
And it became kind of a thing. We're like, oh yeah, expired milk. She's gonna be bringing Jenga and Connect Four at this party, and it like became a thing.
Yeah.
Very
That's another
good.
part too. Like
Carved
you
out your niche.
yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta sometimes you just embrace yourself. Like a lot of young people are caught up on shoulds. Like I should be well adjusted and very social. Like I should be the life of the party. I should be doing this or that.
Yeah.
So you just embrace your freaky self and be yourself, but also kind of poke fun at yourself, know where your shortcomings are, try if you want to try, and if you figure that you really hate it, then don't just
Yep.
stop.
Yep.
Yes,
Totally.
I feel like everyone has a place in the tapestry.
Yes, of course.
And if you're not vibing with people around you, you can try to find your crew of little weirdos. And even if it's only a couple, like it's better than trying to fit in where you don't fit in.
Yeah, man. I agree.
Mm.
So, the upshot of all these failed experiments, from the cheesy dare to the trendy mindfulness, is the old chestnut that you can't change people who aren't ready to change.
Mm-hmm.
Teens can make poor choices, but they are smart and, on some level, know themselves. Alleviating the teen mental health crisis may require something that is not altogether comfortable for adults, trusting that teenagers will know when they need help. We may need to make treatment available, but not obligatory. Teens have plenty of obligations as it is.
Yeah.
Very
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. And for teens, like I remember being a teen and like trust goes a long way. Like trust me to know what I want, trust me to have good judgment as much as I can.
Mhm. I do
Yeah.
know. Yeah, what?
Oh no, I was just saying
Oh,
yeah.
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 Yeah. Our little
Got
cheerleader.
that, kids?
How do you
All
do,
you
fellow
kids
kids?
listening out there.
Yeah.
Yes, how do you do, fellow kids? Listen, we grok what's going on, all right? We're hip, we're with it.
It seems that unhappiness comes from the obsession over the should. Yes.
Yeah, it
Woulda,
really
coulda,
does. And a lot
shoulda.
of kids have this because they are still very influenced by their peers and like what society says they should be, because they're so young, they don't have another point of reference. They're not as developed in their own self image, like to be confident and be like, you know what, I'm going to march to the beat of my own drum.
Hmm.
Kids don't generally do that. They're like, oh my god, I am so deficient in all these things and I shouldn't be. I should be this, I should be that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's like if you cannot meet these standards, then you just have no place in the
Yeah,
world. And then that's what causes all the panic because you
Hmm.
know or
right.
you think you can't be a certain way. When in reality, again, if you're a kid, you don't really have that much autonomy over your own life. You're just being
Yeah.
carted from one place to the next. And I think where kids start to grow out of that is once they do get a little bit of independence, they say, oh,
Yeah.
there are actually choices out there. There's actually more than one way to be, and now I can go off and do that. But of course, when you're 13, 14, 15, that's very hard to get into
Oh
your head.
yeah. And that
Yeah.
mentality can last into your 20s too, when you're still trying to figure your shit out. So
Yeah.
yeah, irradiated woman, that's such a sweet story. That's perfect. The little
Yeah.
weirds, they come.
So I didn't know how to approach people for friendship in my freshman dorm, so I would sit in the common area and draw. Worked like a charm. Be a little weird, the other little weirds will
Yeah.
come.
And then you find your little
So cute.
crew, and it doesn't have to be a big crew. It might even just be one other person. Or if you really
Yeah.
don't like people, just forget about it. Just be good with your own company. I'm very introverted. So all of y'all out there that are just so comfortable with your own company, it's fine. You don't have to have a big group of friends or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, life isn't like a
No, it's
sitcom.
not Friends.
Like Friends, exactly. Yeah. Did either of, if you're comfortable sharing, did either of you ever endeavor into therapy?
Oh yeah, I got sent once. It was not my choice.
Mm.
And because it was
Ah.
not my choice, it obviously did not go well. And I was pretty upfront about it
Hmm.
because it was right on that cusp of
Good.
not having autonomy versus having all the autonomy. So it was like, hey, I said,
How old
I'm
were
not
you
going to play
at
around
the
with
time?
this and I don't agree with it and I'm not going to cooperate. So he was like,
Yeah.
well, if you've been upfront about it, you said you're not going to cooperate, so this will not work. I said, great. Glad we had this discussion.
And how old were
Yeah.
you?
I was in college, so like
Okay.
19, 20.
Okay. Still really young though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really young.
Yeah.
I
It was,
have
I
yeah.
did. Oh,
I
go
was
ahead.
just
I
gonna
just
say I've never
continue.
I've never been to therapy and I don't think I would ever be. I once told my brother that I think I'd rather die than go to therapy.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
Dang.
sorry.
I did. I started going to therapy when I was 15 because I was super depressed, but it was totally situational. I was not out. Uh, oh, I must have been 14 because I came out 2 weeks after my
Yeah, and you were
15th birthday.
14. That's entirely situational,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh my
Yeah, I was
God.
situational. I was not out. I was in a very Catholic, conservative, religious family.
Mm,
I was very scared of what would be if I did come out. I was thinking it's never going to be possible. So I was very depressed for those
yeah.
reasons. And so my parents did take me to my doctor. Then I started seeing a therapist and a psychiatrist. Um, and then finally, about maybe, yeah, a few months into it, my parents were like, okay, listen, like we have done the doctor, we've done the antidepressants, we've done the psychiatrists, we've done the therapy. Nothing is changing. Either you tell us exactly what the fuck is going on, or we might admit you to the youth psych.
No.
Mm.
I mean, they were desperate, I
Yeah. No, I know,
understand.
but still, like, those
And
places are awful.
oh yeah, for sure. And I didn't want that, so I was like, okay, well, I guess this is it.
Mm.
And I had to come out to them. It was 2 weeks exactly after my 15th birthday. Uh, and I told them that I was a lesbian,
Yeah.
and it was so extremely anticlimactic because my parents were relieved.
Like, oh, that's it. Okay, great.
They were like, oh, no, literally, they said, oh, that's it?
That's it.
We thought maybe you were
Oh,
pregnant or on drugs or
no.
something. So I was terrified and crying and sobbing and preparing to have to go live with my grandparents because my parents were going to kick me out of the house. And then they were like, oh, that's it? And I was like, record scratch. Like, what?
all this turmoil you suffered.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like I had good reason to because they were Catholic and
I don't
religious,
blame you.
and
Your predictions were probably correct for the majority of kids in your situation, right?
Yeah, but yeah, thankfully I don't have like a super good relationship with my dad actually. Like actually I have a pretty terrible one.
Well, yeah.
But I will say when it comes to loving and accepting me and my sister for who, what, and how we are, I could not have asked for like a better outcome. And my parents, like they're so annoying. they got involved with like the local P flag with the parents and friends of lesbians and gays. I know. And
for super conservative Catholic suburban parents or whatever to do that is just so heartwarming. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was 2003 also.
So that was like back in the day. That's so cute.
I know. And then they were completely like, yeah, they left the church. They chose me over their religion. So I mean, you know, I can't. And my mom wants to go to Pride every year, and I don't want to go any year.
You do it for her. Yeah, it's not for you; it's for her. That's so funny.
It literally is. And then both of my parents, oh my god, they have a Pride flag hanging from their rearview mirror in their cars.
I just got to ask you if you have the Uggo flag. Do they have the Uggo flag?
No, it's the regular rainbow one, just the regular normal rainbow one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually it's kind of cute. Like, my dad. One time, my dad is a competitive billiards player. And he was going to a tournament in another city he plays on a team and singles. And so his team was going, and a couple of the guys were traveling with him in his vehicle. And one of them was like a young 20-something punk ass. And he was like, why do you have like a pride flag in your car? And yeah, I know. And my dad was like, because my daughter's a lesbian. You got anything to say about that? Like, I know. I was like,
Dad's going to throw hands.
Yeah, we don't get along really in any other aspect at all. But I will say when it comes to, just completely loving and accepting me for me, I do have that. So I will be appreciative of that. But yeah, so anyway, the long way around to say my depression was very situational. Once I was honest about what was going on, things got better.
Yeah.
That's a long way around that. And so, I did do therapy for a bit longer after all of this, just because I was like still tying up a few loose ends. And my parents, like, they weren't immediately like it's okay. Like they did take some time to come around, but so I did still do a little bit of therapy after that. And then actually, honestly, lately, I have been considering talking to somebody, but not in like a therapy way, I guess. More in like there's a situation in my life that I just feel like I could benefit from speaking aloud to it about someone who doesn't know any of the parties
like
involved.
An objective third party.
Yeah, it's not that I'm like depressed or whatever that, like, I just feel like I need a bounce board for.
No, I can see that for sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
If I ever went to therapy, that would be what it would be for.
Yeah, I feel like the situation, I don't care to disclose it, but there's a situation in my life where I feel like there's 3 possible answers, and I would just like totally like uninvolved.
You know what you should do? You should get into tarot.
Help me figure it out.
I'm just
right.
Kidding.
Let the cards tell me.
You should go onto the advice Reddit.
Oh, that's the worst place. Don't go there.
Do not go there.
Only read for the drama and do not actually post there. I'm begging all of you out there.
Yeah. Oh, Reddit.
Yeah, it's an endless source of entertainment.
Yeah, you got to curate it well, but that can be done.
Yeah, I curate mine for sure. I never go unpopular. Don't ever do that. You will lose brain cells and faith in humanity.
Mine is just people arguing about Star Wars.
Yeah. But that's your thing though, like Star Wars fandom and stuff. I got plenty of fandoms on mine. I got cats. I got the drama stuff that Radical and I like Am I Overreacting and all that stuff.
Yes.
Oh, entertainment.
I need to mute for a second, so talk amongst yourselves.
Oh no, we've been put on the spot. We have to talk.
But yes, on my Reddit, I'll be like, "Sorry, can't come to the phone right now. I'm arguing about obscure character A."
Yeah, but see, you know your shit with the Star Wars
do.
fandom, so you can actually speak to it. I bet you see a lot of inconsistencies and wrong takes about
so
that
much,
stuff.
and it always baffles me how again the Star Wars quote fan unquote boys say things
quote unquote boys.
Yeah, when it's just they're just wrong. I'm like, you are just incorrect. Like, let me pull up the movie. They're incorrect about movie stuff. Let's pull up the tape, shall we? Here, you're wrong.
It's literally on celluloid.
Yes, it's not even deep cut comic book stuff. It's the movies. If you can't even get the movies right, you don't deserve to speak to me.
For real. They're so accessible. I get not knowing all the spin-off novels and stuff, but the movies, please. Yeah.
There's
Hi,
Lee
Lee
in the comments representing Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yes, my favorite war criminal.
Yes. Lee, Radical stepped away for a moment, but she will be back.
Yes. Speaking of Grand Admiral Thrawn, since I did fly out to my job today, I did the tour debut of my newest suitcase that I got for Christmas. It is an Imperial suitcase. So it's got the Empire emblem on it, which matches my Empire duffel bag and my Empire backpack and my Empire toiletry bag. I'm
your
empired out.
identification with the Empire is concerning to me.
Hey, look. In the world of
they
Star
have
Wars,
better style.
Yeah. Also in the world of Star Wars merch, and also merch in general. I'm in a lot of fandoms. In order to make sure I don't go broke, I just gotta pick a faction and stick with it. So
True.
yeah.
Plus, the bad guys usually have better aesthetics. I feel
much better aesthetic.
Yeah, in every fandom, they're just cooler, you know?
Mm-hmm. I looked very fashionable going through TSA today, I must say.
Ooh.
I even had my Empire beanie on, which I didn't notice until later.
Oh, that's funny.
My coworker pointed it out. They're like, "Wow, you're really merched up today." I said, "Am I? Oh, I guess I am." Oh no, Lee, there wasn't any Imperial drama. But I'm still mourning the end of Andor. No
Is it
new
getting
Star Wars.
another season?
Nope. The next season of Andor is Rogue One, the movie. So.
Oh, that's right. It was a prequel.
Yeah, it was a prequel.
Well, shoot.
Yeah. Though they did announce the core Harry Potter cast today.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Reddit of all places.
Yeah, they unveiled the new kiddos.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
them.
apparently the girl playing Hermione was Matilda on the West End.
Oh,
cute. Yeah. Young actors revealed for Harry Potter. Oh, they're adorable. Here, I'll share my screen. Aw. Thanks for holding the fort. My sister called me, and she never, ever, ever calls. So I was like, I better answer this. She only ever texts. And of course, it was
Oh,
nothing.
why did she call? I'd be like, hey, listen, why'd you call me?
Yeah, no, it was. What do you remember when we went to that place and that thing? And who was it? Like,
Oh, you
yes, it's like, yeah, I was just trying to tell so and so about this. I'm
okay?
like, okay,
Calls that should have been a text in the first place. Oh
yeah,
my God. Actually, I saw something else on Reddit that was really funny. It was a guy, I guess there's a TikTok trend of calling your brother or sister or your friends.
to say
Yes, and
goodnight.
I love you.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes. The
Mhm.
guy, he's like, I don't know, he's like British or something, and he's calling his brother, and his brother's like, I'm gonna fucking punch you in the face. Because the guy was like, I'm just calling to say goodnight and I love you. And the brother's like, what? It was so funny.
Yeah, I've seen a few of
Yeah,
those.
I love it. I feel like the people without
Very
siblings,
good.
they don't get it. They're like, no, this makes me sad though. He said he'd punch his brother in the face. I'm like, no, you don't get it. You
Oh no, that's a
totally
yeah.
normal.
So,
Listen, okay.
yeah.
They love each other, trust me.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine not having a sibling.
Yeah, me either.
Do you have siblings,
I
Expired
have an
Milk?
older sister.
Right. I think I knew that.
5-year age gap.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 7 between my sister and I.
Mhm.
I'm the older one, though.
I'm the younger one, which means nothing was ever my fault.
Yeah, the
Oh
baby.
boy. I was the oldest.
Ugh, little
I know, right?
sisters. Ugh.
Younger
Yeah.
siblings. I got
But I will
told so
say,
many times that I was the example for my brother and that I needed to act like
Yep.
I was an example, even though we're only a year and 9 months apart. Like,
Oh,
what?
wow.
yeah, I will
That's
say
funny.
recently my sister and I have been getting along a lot better.
That's
We
good.
didn't get along growing
Oh,
up, and we didn't really speak to each other much outside of the holidays throughout my 20s. And then
Well,
randomly, randomly last summer, she started inviting me to barbecues with her friends. I said, "Wait, what?"
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you
oh, they
told
really
me she
want
was a little bit of a difficult personality.
Yeah, we are in some ways we're polar opposites, but at the same time we also studied the same thing in college. So it's it's kind of weird.
oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
interesting.
So, in all the ways that irk the two of you, you're alike, and then you're different, which also annoys the two of you.
indeed.
Yes. Mhm.
But yeah, we were actually just texting today
That's
about Harry Potter,
Oh.
ooh.
where we're like, my opinion was, I feel like we could have had another 20 years before a Harry Potter remake. I know why they're doing it. And then we were discussing, I was saying,
Why?
hey, well, I do wish, and maybe it's because J.K. Rowling doesn't want to, but like you could create a very large expanded universe of Harry Potter, but
Oh
clearly she
yeah.
doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
clearly she doesn't want to write any more books about it. So
Yeah,
and that's
she's
how we
done.
kind of yeah. Whereas I said, yeah, for Star Wars, after George Lucas did the original trilogy, he wasn't involved in any of the books and comics that came out. Obviously, they have permission to publish them, but I said it's because of all those
Yeah.
books that other people wrote, expanding on all these other new characters that I think gave Star Wars its longevity. But here,
Yeah,
but here with Harry
totally.
Potter, they like tried Fantastic Beasts. They kind of gave up on it. Now they have the theme park, which is based on the
Oh,
Oh,
hotel
based on the
Wi-Fi.
film, starting a new
Oh.
TV show with
hotel Wi-Fi.
oh, hotel Wi-Fi. Am I back? Can you hear me?
Are you back?
Am I
Yes.
back?
Yeah,
Okay. So you
Yes.
have the parks that are
I
based
think
on
so.
the films, but then you have the new TV show, which will be different people. So how is that going to work? I don't know.
Wait, wait,
No.
why do you think that it could have been another 20 years? I want to hear your theories and your thoughts.
Well, again, because they are doing the same story. If
Oh, yeah.
it's like because even when we've had a lot of Spider-Man trilogies in our lifetimes.
This is true.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
even when they did the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I said, "Really? Didn't we just do Spider-Man? It feels like we
But
should wait."
There's been a
there
lot of
Yeah,
have, but I would
Spider-Man.
also argue with you that a TV show is a different medium, so they could expand. The movies left a lot out, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
TV could
that's
like,
why they're doing. Yeah, that's why they're doing the TV series, and which is why I'm like, okay, I understand why they're doing it. But
hmm,
unlike Spider-Man, because even with Spider-Man, that's a Marvel comic. There are so many
true. Yeah.
comics for Spider-Man. So again,
Yeah.
that's already expanded the universe, but we still only have 7 books.
That is true. So it would
And
be
Mm,
like a TV show just rehashing the books, is your argument.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what kind of makes me feel like, oh, it feels like Harry Potter is like kind of stuck because we only have this material, and it seems like no one's really given the green light to make more material.
right.
So, like, hey, I'm gonna watch it
I
100%,
heard
but
there was like a whole rumor going around a few years ago that there was going to be a series on Harry's parents' generation,
Oh, I
oh,
specifically on the Marauders,
that would be cool.
Marauders.
Marauders,
Yeah,
Marauders.
Marauders. But that was a few years ago, and I haven't heard anything since.
Yeah.
yeah. And I do wish Fantastic Beasts went a bit better because that was expanding the storytelling, but then they just kind of stopped.
Well, I feel like they had a lot of great stuff to work with, but I think they kind of shat the bed on it
Yeah.
with the
Like
writing and stuff.
I did really like the first Fantastic
Yeah.
Beasts film, and then I feel like in the later ones they tried to, and Star Wars has this issue as well. They tried to put in connective tissue in ways that didn't really make sense. So then you're just like, wait,
Yes.
check the record, please. I don't think that's canon.
Right. I
Check the
agree.
record, please.
Yeah.
I hate
Me
like
every time I watch a Star Wars.
yeah, and it's like it's because of fan service.
Actually,
Actually, they didn't actually do that. Okay, read your
Well, if you
sources.
read this reference book, you would see that.
Well, because they value like fan service and callbacks more than coherency. And I agree with
mm,
you on that. Like, be consistent. Come on.
Mhm.
hmm
Wait, gravityonics. What term?
yeah, what term?
What a term. We said a lot of geeky things just now, so you have to
Yeah.
specify what we said, okay?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Hogwarts Legacy was a thing. So that was kind of expanding the storytelling in video
Yeah,
games.
Yeah,
people loved it. It was so
Yeah.
beautiful.
I liked it, but I think it could have been better. That's my hot take about Hogwarts Legacy, Star Wars Legacy. Come on.
Yeah. I never finished, like, because usually I'll watch streamers play it, but I never finished the main story. So I need to do that at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like it's a cool idea. It's a cool concept to go back in time like 100, 150 years, whatever. It's set in the late 1800s, I think. So,
Right.
Yeah.
which is really neat. But I just feel like it could have been like even more, even
Mm,
better.
hmm.
Yeah,
Shat, yeah, gravityonics. They shat the bed on that one.
They shot it,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
Then my sister's telling me, I was like, well, I really like the Harry Potter theme park. She's like, that's because you're the target demographic. I said, I am the target demographic.
I have never been, but I hope to soon, someday. Well,
Oh,
except for as a Canadian, I'm not traveling to the United States for the foreseeable future. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't come here. It's nothing. There's nothing good here for you.
not anymore right now, anyway.
No. Ice Goddess, I don't think we're actually talking about spoilers. I know she already muted us, but
Oh, yeah. Good night, Capricorn.
yeah, good night.
Um, yeah. Yeah, I used to travel to the United States at least once a year. But
What part? Did you
beef
go
with,
like the same place or?
yeah, mostly California.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
I have been through like the entire Western and like not Midwest, but like Midwest, in between the West and the
Yeah.
Mid.
Good night,
Yeah.
Ice Goddess.
But yeah, Trump. I have beef with Trump, so I'm not giving any of my money to your economy this time around. Sorry.
We don't blame you.
Yeah. But hey, I just got all my Canadian paperwork today. I'll
Oh,
be in your territory next week.
yes. Woo!
Ooh.
Yeah. See
Welcome.
what's what. Just poke around. Say like, hey, 51st state, what's up?
Hey,
I'm gonna kick you out of here. I have the power to do so.
hey,
Yeah.
you were in my territory a while back. How did you like Lowell, Massachusetts?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
here.
Well, I've been to Lowell lots of times. It's
Yeah.
I kind of
It's
have a beef
shitty,
with
right?
Massachusetts. Yeah, it is shitty. Well, well, in general, I was raised to think Massachusetts as a whole is shitty because I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yes, well,
Oh,
this is true. Yes.
Yes, it's just like I don't like Massachusetts just
on
Yeah.
for
principle.
cultural reasons, you know.
Yes, I know.
Cultural reasons?
I grew up in
Cultural
New
reasons.
Hampshire. No, I grew up in New Hampshire, and everybody around Massachusetts calls them massholes, and we all
Yeah,
hate them. Even though we're all in New England, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
that's funny.
Oh yeah. So Lowell is the people at the venue. They're like, "Oh, it's you again." I said, "Mm-hmm, it's me again."
Yeah.
Said it's still dreary. I'm still gonna call this caterer who I don't really like, but the pricing is good. So, but
It's you
yeah,
again.
now we're
It's
now
you.
now
They
we're back
remembered
out
you.
west. Yeah, part of me gets kind of bored because I've just been back and forth across the U.S. and Canada so many times. But every tour, something new will pop up, and I say, "Oh, that never happened before."
Hmm.
Of course,
How
this tour that was the
boring.
whole thing with Border Patrol boarding our bus, but new exciting things every time.
Yep. Where are you crossing the border? Do you know?
The middle of nowhere. Let's see here. What
Or what
it's well,
province?
we're going. My first stop is Medicine Hat, so whatever is right there.
Aw, my aunt and uncle live there.
Oh.
Okay. Well, my hope is that the crossing is so in the middle of nowhere that they're not gonna care.
Oh, is
And
it gonna be Coots or Sweetgrass?
I think it was like Wild Horse.
Oh,
Wild horse.
yeah,
Yes.
that is one.
I love how like medicine hat, wild horse. It's very like old west town
Yeah,
names.
Yeah,
I think Wild Horse might be the US side of because you know how each station has a
yeah, it's in
name.
Montana.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
hoping to
yeah, we call it Wild Horse as well.
there and every night
Hotel
dogs
Wi-Fi.
out.
Damn hotel Wi-Fi. Oh my god. We're being robbed of your awesome takes. Jesus.
Am I back? Is the CIA still blocking me?
You're fine
It's
now.
the rebels.
The rebels.
What can I say? I'm wanted by
Yes.
Interpol.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we actually believe you. Hi,
That's
Nana.
fun. Nana, hi Nana. I'm too busy with my stupid work. You're almost
Yeah.
free, Nana. You're almost done.
Freedom. So close.
And then international moving. Oh my god.
Oh, that has got to be a time and a half.
Yeah.
Kidding. I
We wish so too, Nana.
that would be awesome.
That's such a mood, that whole sentence.
Big time. Yeah, I've been so bored at my job lately because like I have nothing to do on days that I'm not doing clinic, days that I'm not downtown. It's like working on client files and applications and this and that and the other. And I have none of that to do. I have none of the above to do right now. So I'm just like do twiddling my thumbs.
Okay, radical. Hear me out.
I'm hearing.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Ooh,
I'd have to bring my own computer to work, I think, because
You
yeah.
can't put Roller Coaster Tycoon on the
which
work computer.
probably not. Probably not. But I have considered like going on Marketplace to find like a cheap old like iPad to take to work to watch Netflix because
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
I am doing nothing. Like, I brought a book to work today because I was like, well,
Yeah, you mentioned that on our chat, and I was like, man, I would rather be busy, like straight out
Me
busy.
too.
Yeah, because it makes the
Yeah.
time go by faster. When you got nothing to do, it just drags
Yeah,
all day.
today I got to work at like 7:45,
Ugh.
Oh
and
wow.
by like 8:10 I had like addressed all of the emails that I had and done all of my follow-ups, and I was like,
Oh God.
okay, what am I going to do till 3:45?
Is this like a is this like a seasonal thing or just an unusually random not
Unusually
busy
random. I don't know what is going on. I don't know
Mm.
why. Um, so normally when I have my clinic days, which is it's like I do a little walk-in clinic where my clients can come sign up to get assistance with the things that they need assistance with, whether they need help with applications for like government assistance or like disabilities or whatever. Um, and normally I have 15 to 20 people sign up each morning. But the last couple of weeks, I've had 6 or 8. And so I'm like, what is going on? I think maybe it's also like weather related. Like it's nice weather. People are wanting to be outside and doing drugs and stuff rather than coming to see me.
Oh
So, you
no.
know,
Yeah.
so, I don't know. But uh, I was downtown this afternoon. I go downtown Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that was fine. We'll see how Thursday goes.
Well, if it continues being slow, like I also said, and as I tell some of my coworkers, well, you can start working on your memoir.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's good enough, they'll make it into a film, and then you'll make lots of money.
Mm.
Yes.
Or the next
Oh.
great theme park,
Yes.
Yeah.
roller coaster
On
tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon on your iPad that you're going to buy off Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, Drew, they did remake Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I did not download that version. I
Yeah, I
downloaded
have
the
the old
old
school
version.
one too.
Yes.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. I just saw
Oh,
like a couple pictures of the new one. I said, why are these graphics
what
so
is
detailed?
this?
I don't need this.
I
I
do
did.
not need
Yeah.
this. No, I want my little like
Yes.
stick figure people walking around. Like,
Okay.
no.
Thank you, because I'm not the only one that finds remakes somewhat unsettling sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
It's
it's too much.
Yeah. And like the roller coaster tycoon, I've seen like videos of the remake one where like you can watch the roller coaster from the POV of a rider or whatever. And I'm like, I do
No.
not want this. I want the freaking helicopter angle.
Nobody asked for this.
No. I hate it. Ugh.
Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks. I hate it.
Yep.
No. Give me the freaking what 2001 cereal box version.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Ugh.
And because we're heading out into Oregon Trail territory right
Oh
now,
yes.
I did have the thought maybe I should download the OG Oregon
Oregon Trail.
Trail.
You should see if you can survive. It's impossible.
I mean, I
Yeah.
never made it to Oregon. I got to
No, did
California
anyone?
once.
Did anyone
Yeah,
make it to
a lot
Oregon?
of girls in my grade did. It was a status symbol, actually.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
I never knew
Oh.
anyone who made it to Oregon. Everyone died
Mm.
of dysentery or drowned in the river, or their oxen broke a leg.
You have died of dysentery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wah,
I'm
wah.
usually not an outdoorsy person, but I'm gonna go out on the trail and look at the stuff.
Wait, you're
But
not an
even
outdoorsy person,
no,
but you want to work on a cattle ranch.
exactly.
What?
That's my issue.
Don't
I said,
question
okay.
expired milk.
No,
I was
radical.
like, hey,
You're a ranch lady, but like we're
I'm
city
a ranch
folk.
lady, but I have like this intense fear of fire ants and wasps that live in the ground. So
I mean, that's a very normal fear, I feel like.
yeah. So I said, oh, I
Wasps
could work
are
on a
nasty.
ranch. I just need to make sure it doesn't have either of those things, or like bees in general,
There's
or
bees.
spiders, or snakes.
Oh well, okay. Or spiders, or rats, or
Listen, I'm okay
Hard
with
to
rats, but
avoid.
not snakes.
I love
Okay, no
rats.
snakes. I love rats too. They're so. Oh, we caught a mouse. There was a
Aw.
mouse, a little house mouse.
Aw.
There was a
R.I.P.
little.
So cute.
I know. There was our cat started to pay attention in the kitchen, and so we set out a have a heart trap with some peanut
Mm-hmm.
butter in it, and there was a little house mouse.
Oh, I just googled pictures of mice. They're so
They are
cute.
so adorable. I freaking love
Little
them.
house mouse. Aw, my
Yeah.
heart.
And so the house mouse was released in the you know
Mm-hmm.
away from the home because they'll just find their way back in. So in the woods, in the fields.
Mm-hmm. Very cute.
So sweet.
Yes. I would not mind mice being on the ranch, but because I was home this past week, I met up with my friend and I was just telling her about my general state of boredom. And she's like, how can you be bored? You travel the country for a living. I said, trust me, I'm bored. I need to spice things up. But then this past week, I did sort of manage to do that. I didn't get to go on a ranch or go to a rodeo, but I did work a circus and soccer games, professional soccer matches, and a few weddings. And I feel like the combination of all those things was enough of a change in pace where I said, I'm no longer bored.
Little of this, little of that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Gray Witch says she has questions for you, Expired Milk. She has
Uh,
questions.
if your question
Drew,
is the CIA looking for me? The answer is yes. But
yes.
they will never
Yes.
find me.
So, Drew, I have a cat, and sometimes she will catch a mouse, but most of the time she does fuck all. So, yeah,
Fuck all.
she does fuck all.
Oh,
She just likes to watch. She just sits there like, hey, there's something in there. So I have to put the have a heart trap out and catch him.
cute. Cute. Oh, you want to know something awful that happened to me today?
No, you mean
What?
more awful than the car wreck almost?
Yeah, almost as bad.
Oh
Come
Maybe worse.
on.
no.
Maybe
Oh,
worse.
worse.
So, okay. So, I came home from work today and I opened my front door and I came in my house and I was like, kind of smells weird in here.
Oh no.
I live
Uh-oh.
alone, so I don't know. So I'm like walking around. I'm like, oh, that's so weird. So I take my garbage out, and there really wasn't much in there, but I'm like, weird, okay. And then I walk by my kitchen island, and I'm like, what the fuck is that smell? And it was bad.
Oh.
And so I start looking at, because I had a couple of like grocery bags full of just random shit on my kitchen island, because last Wednesday I came home from a house sit and I put my groceries and stuff away. So I thought. And in
Uh-oh.
one of the bags was an unopened package of raw chicken thighs
No.
that had been sitting there since last
Oh
Wednesday.
God. Oh, the smell must be so
It
horrible.
was horrible. And I reached into the bag
No, 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 no.
and it was
Oh,
slimy.
no, 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 no.
And so I like screamed and I just grabbed the whole bag and like took it outside and threw it in the
Oh,
trash and then
Yeah.
scrubbed my hands like crazy. So yeah,
oh,
it was almost worse than the almost car accident. I think it may
that
have been
is
actually worse.
so disgusting.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I forgot. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that it was in that bag because I thought I put all of my groceries in the fridge or the freezer. But this one
Yeah.
bag just had my Tupperware container and an unopened package of chicken thighs.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
I can share in your pain, Radical, because
Oh
now
yeah,
I
your
can.
power situation.
Yes. Okay. For the chat, before this past week, I have not been home since February. In
Oh.
April, Pico decided to cut the power to my apartment because I guess they just caught up on their accounting, and I guess the person who lived there before me had racked up $7,000 worth of
Oh,
bills.
Jesus.
So it was like an automatic power shut off, and there's all this confusion with the paperwork because the apartment has switched management companies a few times since I've been there as well. So they didn't have my lease on the record or anything. And I've been trying to get the power turned back on, and they still haven't done it. But anyway, so power gets shut off April 1st. I come home
oh.
last week to open
So
my freezer.
Oh,
mid-May.
oh,
Yes,
gross.
mid-May. And oh, it was so bad. Well, first of all, I put on my like I don't know the proper term, the rubber gloves one might use for cleaning.
You know, I feel like
Mhm.
you would have a hazmat suit just like available to use. I could see
See, I
you
should. What
having
I did
one.
was I put on my rubber gloves and a face mask from the plague days. And I
Oh,
and my fridge is facing the side door that goes out of my apartment. So I opened the door and the window automatically. And my thought was if I just open this all at once and I fling it outside, it won't smell as bad.
oh.
It did still smell pretty bad, and there was
Oh.
just slime and mold everywhere because
Oh.
Oh.
I had like veggies in there and meat because I knew I was going to be coming back. I said, "Oh, if I freeze all this stuff, I can eat it for my week off."
Oh.
No, and I
Mhm.
went back 4 times throughout the week to scrub out the freezer again, and I left it open for a couple days, and it still smelled. So I said,
Oh
"Well,
God.
I tried my best." But yeah, it was a little bit of a mini science experiment in there, and I'm really mad.
Oh.
And my
Yeah.
apartment is still they're not responsible for anything.
That's
Oh, those
fucking
fuckers.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't have the record of you having a separate lease, it's their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I sent in all the paperwork, I followed up on Friday. I said, "Hey, following up on my like status number, whatever." And they said, "Oh, it looks like your case has been closed." I said, "Closed? I still have
Mhm.
no power." They said, "Oh yeah, well, it looks like your thing didn't have the signature page." I said, "It does have the
What?
signature page. I'm looking at it right now." They said, "Oh,
Ugh.
well, sometimes our system has issues opening files, so you should
Well,
just
that's
send
a
it
you
again."
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
That's
that's
should
not
just
an
send it
expired milk
again,
problem.
and they told me
no.
to call back again in another 5 to 8 business days.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course I'm gone now, but still. Yeah, so for
Ridiculous.
yeah, so for my entire week off, I was sleeping on my parents' couch instead of in my bed surrounded by
Oh,
Own bed.
all my Star Wars merch.
oh
Mm,
God. That
that's
Uh,
sucks.
tragic. That sucks so bad.
but hopefully it'll get resolved because I'm not giving them $7,000. I didn't do anything.
No,
No,
you're
throw it
not that
away.
person. You shouldn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But now I'm here out in the grand wild, ready to start my Oregon Trail and
Very
then
good.
escape to Canada before
Yeah.
the US crumbles in on it.
Hmm. Maybe you should look online for some enzymatic cleaner for that freezer though.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know what
trying to
I'm gonna
think
do.
what would take away the smell. Like they got to have stuff like, cuz there's like not to be gross, but there's like body cleanups and really nasty
Yeah.
Hmm.
hoarding situations people can clean up and they got to have something for the smell, like enzymatic cleaners that,
Yeah.
take the
Yeah.
smell
Yeah,
away.
I should go to Home Depot and get the serial killer package, just like a tarp
Yeah.
Literally.
and
You
The
the
know,
baseball
saw.
buckets and zip
no,
ties.
you should go up to the kid working there and be like, "I need something to get the smell of dead things out of my freezer. Do you have anything for me?
Yeah, so do you have any bleach?
I need
Pure
bleach.
bleach.
I need your strongest
Industrial
cleaners."
strength.
Yes.
Imagine.
So I gotta make a problem go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, do you
You
have
know what
a
I mean.
special on tarps and duct tape?
Oh, too funny.
On that note, no.
On that note, girl power.
Yeah.
Girl power. What I saw a thing that was like girls should be allowed to commit one murder in her life scot free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Ugh. What what part of the country are you in, expired milk?
Right now, I'm in where am I? Wisconsin.
Ooh,
Wisconsin. Random
Yes.
as fuck.
Yep.
Wisconsin, home of cheese.
Yeah.
What even is in Wisconsin besides the Green
Cheese.
Bay Packers and
Cheese.
cheese?
Corn.
Corn. Yeah.
Corn.
The iconic Bath and Body Works candle saga lady.
Ooh.
Do you know that video?
No,
No.
I feel like I should because I'm a smell person.
Oh yeah, it's like an internet meme for years now. It's this YouTube video a woman put out ranting about having to drive around to multiple different Bath and Body Workses for the candles she
Oh my
wanted.
God.
But it's like really iconic and really funny, and she is like so mad, but it's like it's so funny. I'll find it
Yes,
and send it
please. I
to
really want to
the
see it.
group chat.
Love it.
Yeah, it's so good. Um, yeah. What's the what's today? Tuesday?
Yeah,
Is.
Yesterday was a holiday for
it
y'all,
was.
right?
Yes.
What did you do for your holiday?
Well, funny thing is, so we determined my friend is in the Air Force and her week of leave also happened to be last week, and we realized that halfway through both of our weeks off because we're like, oh, we're never at home at the same time. We're just not even going to reach out. We ended up finding out we're both home, so it's like, okay, well, let's just meet up Monday morning at the new coffee shop that opened up in town. Turns out the coffee shop was happening right in the middle of this like suburban Memorial Day parade.
Oh
So we
God.
ended up sitting there, eating our little breakfast sandwiches, watching the fire trucks go by. But the funny thing, it was fire trucks from eh, 5 different neighborhoods. I'm thinking, I hope there's no fires in any of these neighborhoods. Fire trucks are out here.
Part of the
Yeah.
parade?
Then we just walked around, went to some shops and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you do, Existential
I went to
Gamer?
my mom's. She had a Memorial Day cookout thing. It was
Ooh.
Oh,
nice.
fun.
My brother and his wife came, and my spawn and his significant other came. It was
Mhm.
nice, and yeah,
Good
good,
food.
great food. My mom made way too much food. I was like,
Good.
Mom, really?
Fun.
Yeah.
Cute. Last Monday was the holiday for us.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Was it the same themed holiday? Is it like a
No.
no, it was Victoria Day, it was to celebrate the Queen's birthday, Queen Victoria, back before uh, Elizabeth's father.
oh
Anyway, but now it's just like the standard placeholder day for celebrating the monarch of Canada, who currently is King Charles.
Oh,
I was about to
you
say
guys have a
Canada's the
monarch?
monarch. It's
Wait,
just the British one, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
never knew Canada still had a monarch.
Yes, King Charles is the King
Yeah,
of Canada. He's also the King of Australia.
What?
because they never rebelled like we did.
What?
Oh, yeah.
My mind is blown
Yes.
tonight. I did not know that.
Yes. Ultimately, King Charles has the final say of what goes down in this country.
Whoa.
But the monarchy has not, it's they could, but they have not interfered with any kind of political anything in hundreds of years.
Wow.
But
Holy shit.
Ultimately, they could.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard of any royal family drama recently.
No, I haven't either.
The king and queen are currently in Canada on a ceremonial visit.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's the king of Canada and Australia and some other countries. Yeah, we're part of the Commonwealth. The king and the queen, the former queen, are all on our money.
Yeah.
And then there's a position in Canadian Parliament called the Governor General, which is the representative of the monarch in Canada, because the king is in England, he can't be here always. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
where does Trudeau fall in this hierarchy?
Well, he's no longer the
Well,
prime minister because we elected
oh,
Mark
right.
Carney.
But like the prime minister, I guess, is my.
Yeah, there's still the prime minister, and it's the same in England. Like England has a
Huh.
prime minister as well. So yeah, they have an elected government there and here.
So is it like England where it's more of a figurehead type deal? Okay.
Yep. But if it truly came down to it and say like we had a fucking crazy prime minister, like I don't know, Trump, doing crazy shit, the king or the monarch, or if it was a king or a queen, could be like, yo,
Yeah.
no, you cannot do this. So, but they have not interfered in politics in Canada or England for that matter for hundreds
Yeah.
of years. So
Wow.
yeah. The more you know.
Well, I did
learned
learn
something.
today that
Yeah.
in the midst of, I guess, maybe Trump mentioned wanting to invade Greenland again recently or something.
Wait, invade Greenland?
Apparently, there's been some chatter between heads of country, something about Trump and whoever's in charge of China and whoever's in charge of Denmark. They've been like subtweeting each other about the ownership of Greenland because I guess Greenland is technically owned by Denmark or something.
The fuck?
Uh, so,
Well, the Danish have a king and
yeah,
queen. Actually, a
but
queen.
then apparently there's also like a Greenland independence movement going on. So more and more they wanted to be separating from Denmark. Anyway, the gist was because of Trump making these insane whatever things, it's unintentionally aggravating all of these other
Other
things
world
that are
leaders.
going on. So, here we go.
Oh,
So yeah, that's the Greenland
Oh
drama.
boy.
God.
Wow.
Like, what is going on?
I don't even know, man.
Oh.
Hmm.
And it's only like 30 days into
Yeah, it
Trump's,
has
I don't want to
even
think about it.
Mm.
God.
3 years to
I'm
go.
just gonna like
More than
hide
3
under
years
my
to go.
blanket for 4 years. See ya, guys.
Mm. When's the next election? 2028?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or is it? Yeah, 2028. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the new
Yeah.
person will come in January 2029.
Right.
20,
Right.
Yeah, 2020. What's going to happen?
I don't know. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Trump already says he wants
It's
a
a
third
long
term,
time.
so
You can't do that.
We'll see.
But okay, is it not the case that he could leave office for a term and then come back for another?
No.
So it's 2
2
terms total,
terms.
not consecutive.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, but wasn't there a president who did do a third term
I
in that
believe
way?
they did do that, but that was before they did the whole 2-term limit thing. That was like
Interesting.
a long time ago.
yeah, before they updated the rule
Yeah.
book.
Yes. That was like
Right.
back in
The
the
rule book.
olden times.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now no one's
How come there's not term limits for like your senators and stuff though?
Fuck all if I know. I don't know. There should be.
There
I
should
know.
be.
I think so.
we gotta dig up
Because
John Adams.
if there's yeah, without like the term limits, you've got people who have been lifelong politicians. They've been in their role for 40 years or more. They have like no incentive to actually work for the people, right? Like they just
Yeah.
carry on.
Yep.
There's no reason for them to do any better than what they are doing.
I don't know.
Yep. It's honestly a miracle
I should
that
speak
Ted
though
Cruz has had
because
a seat for as long as he has. I feel like no one has ever liked him,
uh,
but he's still
or like fucking Mitch
Yeah.
yeah.
McConnell. How long was he in his? Like
Some people must
Jesus.
love those guys because they are still there.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell got his seat in 1985.
Wow.
Wow.
And he's 83. I mean, I know he just recently retired or whatever the hell, but like, come on.
Well, they've been talking a lot about how a lot of politics is very old people. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's no term limits. They can just stay
Yeah.
forever.
Plus, like,
And they do.
you have to have money and connections to even do politics in America, at least. So,
Mhm.
obviously the oldest and the richest are going to be
Mhm.
viable to be elected or whatever. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not going to change
Um,
anytime soon here. We worship money in America.
Yeah.
well, I mean, here we don't have a term limit for our prime minister. Like, as long as they continue to get elected, they stay in office. But at least they have to get elected.
That's probably how it is with the senators and the representatives and stuff too. It's like they probably figure like, well, if they weren't working, they'd be voted out of office, right? So
Yeah, because technically we vote on the senators every 2 years, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, but I think a
So
lot of
they're
people
always campaigning.
a lot of Americans though, we don't know what our senators and representatives even do. So I think a lot of people just like
Yes.
yeah, they just coast on it. They're like, yeah, he's been the senator for since 1985. We'll just keep him on, whatever.
Mm.
hmm Yeah. So
Mhm.
weird. I'm at least just grateful that we have Prime Minister Carney, who's a liberal, but he's actually like more of a classical liberal than like a liberal
Yeah.
liberal, which is fine by me,
Yeah.
but people are still mad.
Well,
I only saw the one interview he did with Jon Stewart, and I said, I don't know who this guy is, but he seems very normal, and that's refreshing.
yes.
Yeah, he's very normal. He's very smart. He went to both Oxford and Harvard.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he was like the head of the Bank of Canada and then the head of the Bank of
Hmm.
England. So he's like a money banky kind of guy.
Money banky guy.
Money banky guy. Yeah. At least it's not Pierre Poilievre, the conservative psychopath who lost his seat. He lost the prime ministership and his own
Good.
seat.
Bye.
But speaking of Harvard, I am kind of trying to pay attention to that situation because, as Eccentrical said, America loves money and loves old power. And I
Mhm.
feel like,
Mhm.
in terms of academics, you don't get any more of that than Harvard. So
Oh
if
yeah.
Harvard even has to fold to this madness, I think that just spells doom for everybody
Oh
else.
yeah, we should enlighten the chat what we're talking about. This is the Harvard thing.
Yeah, so
What
yeah,
Harvard?
I don't have the details of the full story, but for a while, like the past couple months, well, Trump was telling all these elite universities to roll back all their DEI stuff.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Yale was
And
like,
kick
okay,
out all the foreign students, right?
yeah. Yeah. So well it started with, oh, you need to get rid of your affirmative action stuff and all that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden and Yale said yes, so Yale capitulated, or was it Columbia? Maybe it was both. Whatever. Some other Ivy League said, okay, we'll do whatever you want. But Harvard said, no, we're not gonna do what Trump tells us to do. So he's been kind of after Harvard for the past several weeks. And then it seems like last week he just made this announcement that effective immediately, Harvard can no longer accept any international students and they need to
Oh,
kick
yeah.
out any international students currently there. So everyone figured out,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
And then I think within an hour, some judge somewhere ruled, no, you can't do that actually. And then Harvard sued the executive branch and issued a restraining order on them,
Yes.
which I did not know was
Wow.
possible. But so that whole
Yes.
situation is still playing out, and everyone's just kind of watching to see what happens. But yeah, no one knows what the outcome of this will be.
Love that.
That is wild. To kick out students that are already there,
Yeah.
like completely legally,
Yeah.
because in order to be a student, you have to be there completely legally. Like that's fucking
Yeah, it
bullshit.
is.
And then
Good for
now they're
Harvard.
saying,
Fucked up.
yeah, and now they're saying that kind of no matter what happens with this Harvard situation, whether Trump gets his way or not, he'll be pissed off enough that all the stuff he's doing to Harvard, he's
Mhm.
gonna start doing to public universities, which would be easier because Harvard's a private school; they kind of have their own thing.
Yeah.
But like, well, yeah, Trump could just say, "Yep, public schools, no more foreigners." This is how it's gonna be.
It's so crazy. Like, there's all this talk about the best and the brightest only. Well, what the fuck do you think is the people going to
Yeah.
Harvard?
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Nope. Funny how all that Darwinism doesn't work when it's like brown people, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, so fucked up. What a joke.
Yeah, it's never been about like the best and the brightest, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is what I knew
So
when
messed up.
affirmative action was getting all that press. I said it's going to start
Yeah.
here, but it's inevitably going to evolve it into this because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's awful. That sucks.
So we shall see.
Ugh.
But go Harvard,
Mhm.
keep up the good fight.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Go Harvard.
Good for them. I
If
hope they
anyone has
succeed.
lawyers, it's them. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And lots and lots and lots of legacy money.
Can only fight money with money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Crazy. Well, let's wrap up, I think. I'm going to do some laundry and stuff. Thank you for being here, both of you. It's always a pleasure, and it's always a treat when Expired Milk
It
can join.
is. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, and the show schedule's pretty light the next few weeks, so hopefully I can pop in more.
Heck yeah.
Yay. Drew says, I was walking my dog yesterday and someone has a new yard sign that says elbows up with a Canadian flag. What's that about? Yeah, so elbows up has become like our slogan of Trump trying to talk about us being in the 51st state. Like, we're getting our elbows up. We are not taking this laying down. Elbows up, fuck you to Trump. That's what it's about. Yes. Yes, thank you everyone for being here this evening. I don't know what my calendar is like, but usually we stream on a Friday or a Saturday, so probably that will also happen this week because I don't have anything going on. So yeah, probably we'll be back on Friday, I would think. No promises, but yeah. Thanks, Enlightened Female. Have a good evening, good week. We'll see y'all when we see you. And that's that.
Okay.
All right. Okay,
Bye,
bye.
Make good choices.